Click subscribe to get daily Manchester United content from Passionate Reds, only on All for United.
Welcome back to All for United as we react to the Arsenal-Man United game. Unfortunately, it looks like I've had to come to obviously start the stream, but it looked like it was, as I left, it was still 3-1 Arsenal. Disappointing display, another lacklustre performance. I'm here with Alan, Jeff, is it Singh and Shuash just to talk through the reactions to that, and obviously the kind of main headlines from that game, and any positives if there is any positives out of that particular game. Just want to get straight to Alan really and talk about the initial first half performance. Obviously, there was some Tellers was the sort of the standout weakness in that first half. Then we had a big moment with Sancho in that penalty. Did you feel as if sort of Tellers was weak in that first half, and that Sancho penalty kind of changed the game a little bit for us? What did you think, Alan?
I think so, Reese, because that was definitely a penalty. The Cedric handball. I think if it was a United player who was in place of Cedric, that would have been given as a clear penalty. But what can we say? That's how we were unlucky in those moments. We had those unlucky moments, especially the second half. We'll be coming there shortly. But coming to the game, overall, I felt Telles could have done better. That foul was unnecessary. But, United were in a no man's land. When the defensive structure was poor, and you can see it from the beginning that Arsenal had the intentions to play forward and win this game. We struggled a lot, and we lacked energy, and we lacked passion. I think it's been a cliche, right? Ole used to say all these things, but we are clearly not seeing these things in this team. And tactically, we were outplayed by Arteta. But we had the chances. We didn't take them in the second half.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think there's definitely a tactical advantage I think Arsenal had over us. I think they soaked up that kind of pressure. I felt that we were good enough. There was a point in that second half for a good 20, 25 minutes where I felt we were on top, and I think we get the penalty, we go on and win that game. And there was other big moments in that game. I think the ref had a massive impact on the overall result. Personally, Singh, what did you think? Did you think the first half performance in particular, and do you think the penalty was a penalty? Do you think it was a handball and a penalty? Singh, are you there, mate?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
I think it was a clear, sorry, my battery. I think it was a clear penalty. Like, how can you not give it? It's beyond my imagination. And the referee, he was clearly signaling that, he was falling down. He was signaling with his head that he was falling down. So it makes no sense to me when you can say it, that it's right in front of you. And why was VAR not involved? They are checking every red card and everything. Why was VAR was not involved? And it's their duty basically. If the referee is missing out, you have to go out and you have to tell them that, all right, you have missed it. Now just, make sure that you are getting it right. It is a blatant penalty. Should have been a yellow or could have been a red. Because when you look at after Cedric, who are there? No one. He is one-on-one with Sancho. No one is covering Cedric. Cedric goes down and he basically takes the ball away and Arsenal restarts. It's Arsenal who's restarting the game. Should have been a penalty. Clear, blatant penalty should, not even debatable. Just like the Telles one, it was a clear penalty. United should have got their own penalty.
Yeah, I agree. I think personally, I think it changes the game. It's such a massive turning point in the game, and considering the penalty that Arsenal got in the as well to make it 2-0, I thought that was quite a soft penalty, and I really do think that this does change the game massively. I thought Cedric struggled. I know we were talking about Tellers in that first half, and Tellers had a pretty poor first half for Man United, but Cedric for Arsenal was absolutely there for the taking, and I think Sancho was running him ragged in that first half as well. So Jeff, what did you think? What was your kind of views of the first half? Obviously, and the penalty decision. Really, did you feel like that was a definite penalty and it changed the game in that first half?
Well, the thing with teams who are good enough, they kind of overcome these bad officiating decisions or whatnot or perspectives. So, given our form this season, I don't think we've done enough to get to the good side of the referees. Like unlike the previous seasons, we've been getting a lot of calls because we've been playing great, right? So, I mean, you know, United as a team in general, there's been always some kind of bias from particular personalities in the officiating. So if you play good enough, you should be able to overcome that. And at the same time, uh, we were really unlucky. But given our form, because it's a game of fine margin, so it's really making your own luck and making that luck work for you, which our form and our mentality don't deserve it really. It was just Sancho and Ronaldo really fighting for the ball. Maybe Bruno, but Bruno's been really careless, and and that penalty really sums up his current run of form. He's just mentally out of it. So I'm not sure why he was taking that. Maybe it's a way to get back his form, but um, we were down, and Ronaldo should have taken that given his run of goals. Like it would have been his fifth consecutive goal for United. So that could have been a game changer, really. But good teams overcome these bad officiating decisions, and to be honest, this season we're not really good enough. So just it's frustrating, really. We could have taken a lot of chances. Dalo hitting the woodwork twice, Tellus even getting good shot, but our defenders have some sort of offensive firepower from them, but we need them to defend, and unfortunately, they're not doing that. So.
Yeah, no, well, yeah, I see what you're saying. Obviously, you've got to take your luck, you make your own luck, and if you're a good enough team, then you're not relying on the officiating to get you through. But I mean, personally, I did feel as if it was such a stonewall decision for the referee to make, and especially with VAR, you assume VAR is there to sort of iron out those obvious mistakes. And so for me, as much as I don't think that we necessarily deserved it in its entirety, I think we were poor at some points in that game, and I think we struggled in that opening, first 20 minutes. I felt like that was such a stonewall penalty, really, considering the penalty they actually gave us in the second half. But just kind of moving on, obviously, into Maguire obviously wasn't there. I don't think we didn't miss him. The Ranić's reason for dropping him was the fact that it wasn't form based. It was the fact that he obviously had that bomb threat on his family earlier on in the week. How do you think, Alan, that Lindelof and Varane got on? Do you think that they did well enough today, or do you think we've just got woeful defensive issues across the squad?
Yes, Reese, we have got woeful issues in multiple positions in the squad, not just the defense, even in the midfield. And even our wingers weren't able to show their full potential because the midfield wasn't supplying a good through balls in the first half. The first half, we were really struggling because we couldn't circulate the ball like what Arsenal were doing in the first half. And when you look at the defense of Varane and Lindelof, they were switched off at certain moments of the game, and those were the moments in which Arsenal took full advantage of. If you've seen the game, there were a few offside goals. I think one offside goal which Arsenal scored. I thought that was a clear-cut goal, but luckily it was an offside with Nketiah's feet pointing out. So you can see that there is a clustering issue inside United's box, and there is a lack of communication with the keeper and the defense as well. That was clearly evident in this game. De Gea made some good saves. Credit to him, but at the end of the day, when your defense doesn't work well with the goalkeeper in terms of relaying the information, it affects the overall game. And we saw that today. We were able to resist the press in certain moments while passing the ball from the back to the midfield. But when it came to the midfield, we weren't able to bypass uh, the the mid block, and that was a major issue in as we moved forward in today's game. And we lacked attacking potent. And when we moved into the second half, we started to get some good opportunities. But then the penalty miss from Bruno, that was the turning point of the game, in my opinion. And from there, it was Arsenal's win.
Yeah, just to keep on with that kind of the point you made there, Alan, as well. Just in regards to getting past that mid block, do you feel like that's been something that we've struggled with most of this season? I mean, that's I think the main reason for me personally, and I think for most of the United fans, is that's the reason we need a midfielder, somebody who's going to sort of crack that kind of code in terms of getting us beyond that mid block. Because again, today, we blamed Dalot, we blamed Telles. When you're a fullback and you've got, obviously, you're hugging the touchline, you've only really got one avenue, and that's an outlet from midfield to come and take the ball off you and either switch the play or put it into the strikers or basically take the tempo from the game. You can't rely on your fullbacks to be your creative outlet. So do you think that's been a major issue for us this season, that once again we saw it in this Arsenal game, that we struggled to try and have a midfield that wanted to control the ball? Do you agree with that? Alan, do you agree with that?
Yes, mate. It's been clearly evident in the past few games. We haven't been able to control. I think the only game under Ragnick which we saw the objective of controlling a game was the Crystal Palace game. But from then on, it has not been the same. If we saw, if you recollect the Atletico game in the Champions League, it just shows you how much of an issue the midfield is. We are not able to connect well with our wing backs, and not only that, even the lack of pace in our defense has affected us in certain moments. But today, even with Varane in the side, we were struggling, and there is this issue with connecting the ball in a much more intense manner throughout the pitch, and we weren't able to do it in different phases of the pitch. And if you look at Arsenal, the main thing that they did was they passed the ball really well, and they were intricate, especially closer to United's box. And I think we used to have that energy inside the box, but now it's missing, and we need to regroup and then find our confidence coming into the next season. When Ten Hag comes in, he'll be having a preseason to work out with these players and make few changes and bring in someone new to make better results out of what we have right now.
Sorry about that. Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think it's been a disgrace, hasn't it? I mean, just a comment there again. You need a big clear out. It just kind of goes to show once again the big job that Erik Ten Hag's got in front of him with this squad and this team. And there's patches and there's moments where we're decent, and then there's patches and moments where we're awful and really poor. I mean, just to kind of touch on to Bruno, and we'll come to Bruno again a little bit further on. Obviously, there was a big turning point with him missing that penalty as well. Seeing what did you think of Bruno's performance? Do you think that now, obviously, what was it now, 4 or 5 games left to the end of the season, that he should be dropped and we should be looking at a different midfield for the next few games to the end of the season? What are your thoughts on Bruno today?
I do feel that way. Like after giving him a new contract, or even before that, throughout this season we have seen Bruno trying too hard. Bruno from the previous season, you can see he used to hold the ball. He used to look for the players who are making the run or the players who are around him to make the passes. This season, what he's trying to do is trying for the glory ball all the time. He's not even looking to hold the ball for 2 seconds or 5 seconds. He's like, the moment he gets the ball, he's looking for that glory ball by the Ronaldo or someone who's just trying to make the run. I think, everyone's performances has dipped this season, and Bruno is one of them. I think with just 4 or 5 games left, and I don't think, I think this mathematically ends our chances. I don't think we are anywhere close to. And even if we would have got Champions League, we would have just been passengers over there. Either get knocked out in the round of, in the group stages, or max to max round of 32. So it's good now that we know that we are not going to the Champions League. I think next one or two results will absolutely make it sure. But we just have 4 games. Give the likes of Messi chance. We will have Donny as well coming back in next season. So pre-season we will see Donny van de Beek as well. I think where we have lagged is, that shows how poorly planned we are. We had one backup, a creative midfielder who can, go in the park, go for the tackles, try to get the ball back. We sent him on loan. We decided to go along with a guy who never wanted to be here. He's talking about leaving United for like years, and we went with that clown instead of Donny van de Beek. Every manager who came in was like, he is doing so much in training. How is he going to show it on the pitch if you're not going to give him chances? You can talk about all the rubbish you want that he is doing well. We under Ole it was McFred. Then Eric Ten Hag came. He came up with all sort of formations and everything, and still he went with McFred. So I don't have problem with McFred in certain games. I don't think Donny was 100% sure shot guaranteed starter. But that's what happens when you are like one guy who's playing week after week after week, and we are so dependent on him that when he is out of form, everything around him looks clueless. So when those glory balls are working, everything looks fine. But apart from that, and one thing also about Bruno is his moaning. You are not playing in the Portuguese league. You are not playing in La Liga. You are playing in Premier League. Here, people will come, people will punch you, people will tackle you hard, people will, literally kick you on the pitch and take the ball away from you. You cannot just keep on moaning about every decision against the referee. Most of the time, if you look at the yellow cards he has received, more than his tackles, it's all about the moaning. He is going to the referee ears every time, and he's getting a yellow card for dissent. So if we have to go forward, even Bruno needs to understand that now he is a very vital player for this team. There are certain things that move just around him. You cannot just keep on moaning, and you cannot keep on just dropping in these reckless performances. I have no idea who decided to give him the penalty decision. That you have to take it, whether he was the captain, he took it, or whether Ronaldo just went on to him and said, you're out of form, just take it to get your goal and assist tally upwards. But it was awful decision. I was streaming the game, and I said on the stream that this is the worst Bruno performance I have seen in 3 years, and I will stick to that comment.
Yeah, it wasn't great. And to be fair, I mean, considering how well he was last season, this season's been I'm not sure if it's a Ronaldo impact. I'm not sure what it's been. Ollie getting sacked, what the situation's been, but I just find him quite erratic at times in terms of his build-up play. I find that he rushes the pass rather than sort of taking a touch and looking up and maybe playing the simple ball and controlling the game. He doesn't seem to read the tempo when you're in a situation when maybe your team's been running to win the ball back for the last 10 minutes. You've just won it back. You need to keep it, get a breath, and then go again and attack again. He seems to get that moment where he's trying a 30-yard ball when the team's just been running around trying to win it back, and the team essentially, tired and need a breath. He doesn't seem to read the situation where, he kind of evaluates that and goes, right, okay, the team can attack again now. Let's go. Let's all push and go. We lack that midfielder for me, and that again showed today. I saw a comment there about McTominay being a bit crap. I mean, we'll touch on that in a bit. I thought he was good today, considering he's been injured for a week and a half, and he came in and he had a tough job to do in midfield, really, against a very young, good passing Arsenal side. So, Jeff, just on the from what Singh said there in terms of the Champions League, do you think it's kind of a blessing in disguise then that we've had we're not in the Champions League next season. Essentially, I'm sure mathematically it's still very possible. But I think realistically, it's probably not. Do you think with what Ten Hag's got to do next season with this team, that it's probably a blessing that we're not going to be in the Champions League and they're going to have less games to contend with, albeit a probably reduced wage budget or a reduced transfer budget next season? What do you think about the top four in the Champions League next season?
To be honest, personally, I don't mind not qualifying, so that one, Blazers don't get that extra money that they've been very, just lets them cruise and be mediocre in the field. Secondly, you find out who really wants to play for the badge, not just because you're in a big team in Europe. So whether it's for the current lineup or for people or for players who are coming in, it's not just because I'm going to play in Europe so I can join. It's really about joining Man United. So in a way, it's a good thing because it lets Ten Hag find out who really wants to play for the club. And we've got believers in him all throughout Europe. Like, of course, his former Ajax students. Hopefully, if they, if they prefer playing for him rather than just another European team, then that's good. But for me, personally, I wouldn't mind not qualifying even for the Conference League. Well, maybe the Conference League so that we can play the kids. But I'd rather focus on the reset and give him like three, 4 transfer windows to completely turn it around.
Yeah, it's a big task, isn't it, that he's got? I mean, not forgetting that we have got a couple of loan players coming back. You mentioned Donny van der Beek as well, coming back into the team, and I think Alan, you might have mentioned that as well. So, which is I think that's quite big for us, really. I think he's still got a massive part to play, especially in a Ten Hag team. So yeah, you're right. I think the only downside to the Champions League, other than the fact that I think we can focus on the Premier League next season, is the reduced transfer budget, isn't it, guys? That's going to be a difficult task to try and get the players that he wants with a lot less money to do it. I'm just kind of moving on into the kind of second half of the game. Then, Alan, just obviously we seem to kind of Ronaldo. Well, first of all, we'll touch on the Ronaldo goal. Actually, just don't want to bypass that. Obviously, a very, very tough week for Ronaldo and his family. Awful news about his baby boy that sadly passed away. I don't think any of us had any doubts that Ronaldo would come back and hit the ground running, ultimate professional, one of the greatest of all time, if not the greatest of all time, and gets a goal and brings us back into the game. What we all thought about the goal, and obviously 100 Premier League goals for Ronaldo, an amazing achievement, really, isn't it?
Absolutely. Ronaldo with a great effort there, especially when we were 2 goals down. All the players in the current United side are having a sheer lack of confidence, and Ronaldo is the one who's pushing the team, pumping the blood in, saying that, come on guys, let's go in, let's go for the next goal, or we have chance, we have some life in this game. And then a good cross from Nemanja Matic. I think it is Matic itself, and I think that was the best action in terms of passing ability that we have seen from Matic in today's game. I think it was a good cross, and it was a terrific goal. And I think Ronaldo had other good chances too. He could have converted them. I think the offside, which we saw in the second half, that was pretty tight. I think Premier League should consider some kind of a margin for error there when it comes to the offsides. Maybe we have seen it in case of Salah when he scores certain goals. Salah and Mane in the Liverpool side last season, they had few offside goals being cancelled out. It felt similar to that, the Ronaldo second offside goal, because when I saw the replay, I felt Ben White's heel was a bit, in front of Ronaldo's back heel, and maybe it would have been a great goal if that was given. A fair play to Ronaldo, and he's coming after a tough week, as you said, and massive credit to him. I think he'll start all the games that are remaining this season, and possibly if I don't know if he'll stay at the club because not staying in the Champions League, he's a very ambitious player and he'll want to play at the biggest stages of the European competition. And I think he might leave. So let's just hope that he will offer some kind of a help to Erik ten Hag coming into next season.
No, yeah. I'm pleased that he's got another year. Well, we were all worrying, weren't we? I think just after the kind of Christmas break that we wouldn't be seeing Ronaldo next season. So I'm pleased. Obviously, it'll mean potentially Europa League football for Ronaldo, which I think is a first for Ronaldo, which is crazy, isn't it? In the massive time that he's played, and shows how an elite footballer that he actually is. That he's never played in a competition less than the Champions League. So unbelievable performance. I thought his first 45 minutes this season were some of the best I've seen him in a United shirt this season, if not the best that he's this season that he's played. So his link-up play, his balls around the corner, his hold-up play. He's obviously got a goal. I think he takes a penalty. He's on for an hat-trick. Potentially gets the hat-trick and gets the winner. It really does change the game, doesn't it? Ashman saying, what do you think of Ronaldo? Obviously, just to touch on Ronaldo, I think we all should have a 5-10 minutes to say on Ronaldo. Gets his 100th Premier League goal after a tough week. What were your thoughts on Ronaldo today?
Yeah, that just shows the goal he scored. The quality of the man. He basically bulldozed through two defenders. As if they were not even there. He literally just all right, get lost. Out of my way. I'm going to score. So that was much more of my thinking throughout the game. That he should have gotten more crosses from the other guys, which he didn't. Because we all know Ben White as well as Gabriel, they are very mediocre when it comes to aerial ability. Ben White ranks absolute worst when it comes to the top 5, top 6. So 100 goal, absolutely happy for him, and I would love to see him again next season. I'm not sure whether he's going to stay or not, or whether Ten Hag wants him or not. But I have been a firm believer of Bruno as a captain, going forward. But I just feel that 1 year of captaincy for Ronaldo before we move on, and we need that sort of a leader. 100 goal coming after almost a decade, and then just getting along as if he never went away. So without his goals, you can just see where we would have been. So I want him for another season. Whether he stays or not, that's a totally different thing. And coming back from such a tragic loss, and showing that professionalism and still that hunger and desire. Even after 2-0, as Alan said, he was pushing everyone up that, just get along with it. The game is not done and dusted yet. So that basically shows that how much it means to him. He still wants to win every single game. And that's the kind of character, that's the kind of leader we need. That regardless of whatever is happening in and around, when you are on the pitch, you have to give your best. So I would love to see another year of him. Whether it's going to happen or not, I'm not really sure. But so let's see, just fingers crossed for that.
Yeah, no, yeah, perfectly said, mate. Jeff, what's your thoughts? Obviously, big positive, few positives out of today's game. If we look at probably Sancho and the Elanga performances in little bits, I think. But Ronaldo gets his 100th Premier League goal, after a tough week, as I've said. So, what are your thoughts on the Ronaldo's performance today and his goal?
It's really amazing. I've been through that myself, so it's not an easy task to do what he did. Coming back from a loss like that, I was even expecting he might turn up for Liverpool, but it was understandable if he couldn't. But now you can just see what kind of a baller he is, and maybe, just maybe, he'd like to stay on for a year or two under Ten Hag, just so he can lead the resurrection of United. But that's too much wishful thinking, I guess, on my part. But overall, he and Sancho were the only ones really fighting with purpose. Because, yeah, there are a lot of efforts that were being exerted by the players in the field, but you can see their tendencies their negative tendencies come up, or they're just not good enough. So I give really big kudos to Ronaldo for turning up. And I was saying in the group chat, maybe Ronaldo hat trick incoming, because it was the like last week, it was the only way that we could win against freaking Norwich. So maybe if he did that second penalty, maybe we could have won it 3-1 or 3-2 like last week. But that's all bridge under the water. So I'd like him to see what if he can hack it under Ten Hag, and then if he does, let's see if he'd want to be the one to lead that resurrection, that revolution that Ranick is talking about. So
Yeah, it'd be nice to see, wouldn't it? I think he's an adaptable player, and I think he's just proven towards the back end of this season, isn't he, Ronaldo, as well, that he's still got a lot to give, hasn't he? I mean, without getting his numbers up, I think it's something like we've only won in the 7 games he hasn't played this season. We've only won one of those 7 games. He's just he's an unbelievable performer, and his goals again already this season is probably pretty bleak for Ronaldo, but for most other strikers, it's an unbelievable tally, isn't it? Just going into the second half, guys. Really, obviously it's 2-1. Ronaldo gets that goal. We're probably slightly on top. Should have maybe had a penalty as we discussed with the Sancho incident and Cedric Handball. We don't get that penalty. As I said, we go into that where after Ronaldo go 2-1. I felt we had a bit of a flat second half. The start to the second half, Arsenal were slightly on top. Then I think we started to get a grip of the game, and that's when it started to turn. Did you feel as if, obviously with a Dalot chance, and then obviously Bruno gets it, we get a penalty and Bruno takes it. Do you sort of worry there that was a major turning point, Alan? That we get that goal there, we get a penalty and score that penalty, then suddenly we're back on top and we go on and win the game. Did you kind of read it that way?
I think so, Reese, because getting a goal and making it 2-2, shifts the momentum of the game, and that would have given us that upper hand, especially in Emirates, because Arsenal at Emirates, whenever they draw against a certain side in the 60th minute, they tend to lose their nerves, and maybe we could have tried it out, because this was a do or die win for Arsenal. Personally, I felt that we were already out of the UCL contention after the Liverpool loss, and mathematically we are still in it, but confidence-wise, as well as from the previous performances, we still didn't have any kind of chances even after winning the Arsenal game, because Arsenal have a game in hand along with Spurs. So this was a do or die win for Arsenal to be on top in the top 4 battle, as you can say. And they played well, and moments decided the second half. Aaron Ramsdale, even if he didn't save that penalty, they celebrated like they were winning the Champions League. But fair play to them. Winning this game, puts them in this, puts them close to the top 4, and they're gonna, maybe they might qualify for it instead of Spurs. Who knows? And they have been passionate about the way they are playing, and the fans have been backing them up as well. And Aaron Ramsdale put in some good saves. The Diogo Dalot save was crucial. I felt that was a goal immediately when he took the shot, but fantastic save. And then we didn't have a chance. After the Granit Xhaka goal, it was day and night for Arsenal. It was their game. We couldn't come back after it. Even the substitutions couldn't make any kind of impact, because the kind of passes we played into our final third, we couldn't manage to keep up well with it. Players like Lingard and Rashford, they lacked pace. And overall, this was not our day, and we weren't prepared to win. That's what I can say. Now it's all about next season, and the preparations for next season start. So right now, we know that Ten Hag is still in the Ajax job, but this can be the opportunity for people in the recruitment side of things, as well as Ralph Rangnick, if he's going to have a good say in the decision-making process when it comes to his consultancy role. Maybe he could um, uh, analyze the squad right now and see who can be kept for next season. And moving forward, this will help us. And losing these, maybe I prefer us not to be playing in any of the European competitions. And moving forward, I feel we need to give chance to the youth, young blood like Garnacho and Hannibal. These players need to play, because that will give more options for Eric Ten Hag to see whether they can be a part of the first team coming into next season.
No, yeah, I was, you kind of brought onto the point I wanted to bring on after, really, Alan. So thank you for that. Yeah, I was going to ask about like kind of what do we do now before the end of the season, but I'll just come on to Jeff first in terms of that second half and obviously that moment in which we get that penalty. Jeff, I think you kind of alluded to that earlier on anyway, but do you feel that was a big turning point? And did you feel like with the fact that Bruno possibly wasn't playing well up until that point, was the right person to be taking the penalty, or do you not think it mattered whether Ronaldo was taking it or not?
Actually, Bruno was not half bad in the first half. It was just the second half that, his play in general was not what you expected to be compared to like last season in the first part of the season. That's why I felt like in the group chat, then I kind of expected like, oh no, he might miss, and then he did, right? I think you chatted, or was it another person as well? And then he did. So it wasn't really like a surprise that he did miss, because his form has been terrible. But then again, maybe Ronaldo just gave it the ball back and just, okay, get your groove back, make this, and then you'll be fine. But unfortunately, it didn't work out that way. So maybe it's time to just sit back, relax, and reset for the next season and compete with Donny for the number 10. If Donny's not gonna be the number 6, then compete with Donny for the number 10 spot. So, but that is a big moment, really a big moment. And you can see that his disappointment after that was like everything wasn't really going right for him this season. Like even everything with United. So we're just gonna take it, mail the season in, and look forward to the rebuild. Well, we've been saying that since Alex Ferguson left, but I hope. Well, it looks positive at this point in time, but we'll never know until the transfer window comes in. So.
Yeah, no, well, I appreciate that, mate. We'll just kind of move straight back onto what Alan said earlier on about what we do till the end of the season. Now, obviously, top 4 is gone. We've now got to just play for some level of pride, and I think the players have got to play for their lives for next season, haven't they? I think they've got to play for their jobs and for the positions next season, and prove to Rangnick and to Eric Ten Hag, who I'm sure will be watching and have watched today, that they're worthy of getting a place in this team for next season. So, Alan, what do you think we do now? Do you think we just mix it up completely and just go straight into that? I think Jarvis has kind of mentioned that in one of the questions. Should Rangnick use the remaining games planning for next season, playing youth, etc.? Yeah, so that's kind of the question, really. Do you think that would be the best course of action now, just kind of using these games as a bit of a test?
Yeah, I think we should keep the free agents aside for the time being. In the remaining games, we shouldn't use the players who are going to leave this season. For example, Pogba won't be playing since he's injured. Matic has to play because of the issue in our midfield. But I suggest, giving that chance to another midfielder if he's available from the academy. It's a difficult transition going into the Chelsea game. But I think after the Chelsea game, maybe Matic can stay on the bench and give that chance to someone who's young from the academy, or anyone else from the bench who may be able to play in that midfield role. And then similarly, players like Lingard should not be given chances, because we have no use going into the next season. They're of no use to us. They won't be useful moving in. So we have to make use of the resources that we have right now and keep testing on the pitch, testing and training, and then understanding where our flaws are. And this will help us to prepare for the transfer window as well, because we'll need to prioritize on 3 or 4 positions, because as you all know, Glazers won't be spending a lot of money for United in this summer window, and they'll be working on a certain budget. It could be maybe 120 million, and in the current market, with price inflating due to the amount of interest from the bigger sides in the Premier League, even the mediocre players are costing around 40-50 million euros in the market. So we'll need to plan and scout uncut gems. So for that, we need to understand which positions we'll need to prioritize moving forward. And I think we already have a clear-cut idea on where exactly we are having core issues. And now it's time to see whether the existing resources can be used to shorten the deficit, and if not, move into the transfer market. So it's all about testing and training the next couple of games.
Yeah, no, brilliant. Alan, yeah, Jeff, do you want to pick that one up as well, mate? Would you think that we just use this rest of this season just to kind of as a test, and we kind of use some of the youth players that we've had sat there itching for a game, and we change some formations? What's your thoughts from now to the end of the season?
Well, I've always had this thought, even back in Ole's time, that he plays these not deserving players just to prove a point to the board, you know. But then again, he got lucky at times. I hope Rangnick's doing the same. Like, hey, this team ain't good enough. So I hope he's proven his point, and then he plays the youth moving forward, like a combination of those who deserve to be here next season and those who are up and coming. But the thing is, funnily enough, the Glazers do overcompensate when they don't get Champions League football. But the wrong for the wrong reasons. They overcompensate for the positive social media engagement. Just like what happened in Liverpool. Like, okay, we lost to Liverpool, and they announced Ten Hag. So that was the reason why they signed these types of players after not making Champions League. So hopefully this time around, when they do overcompensate, regardless of the price, regardless of if they're gonna overcompensate their budget, it should be for the right personnel, those who want to play for the club, and those who will fit the system, and have these, as one of our panelists mentioned in this article, have these good footballing habits that can permeate the first team and even the youth level. Because and I do agree with what was said. Um, they have terrible habits. This team has terrible habits. One example in this game, like just before the Granit Xhaka goal, when we lost the ball, McTominay was tracking back, but he didn't close down the space. I think that was who's in midfield, maybe Tavares or something. But he didn't close the space. If he could close the space, then maybe that attack would have happened. So these tendencies, these bad habits, can only be addressed if we do get the right personnel in, and I hope they do overcompensate the budget correctly this time.
Yeah, it's going to be tough, and I think, like we said there, regardless of whether the Glazers are tight with the money or not, I suppose is with no Champions League next season anyway, it's going to be tough, isn't it, to kind of spend that money that you would expect a team of Man United's stature to have to spend, especially with the amount of players that we're going to be bringing in. We've got another question here from Jarvis. Let's bring that up on the screen. Everyone's crying out for a midfielder, but I feel that where we lack the most is the fullbacks. What positions do you think that Ten Hag will prioritise? I'll come to you first, Jeff, since we've come to Alan before. Then we'll go to Alan. Jeff, do you want to take that one, mate? Do you want to? Which positions do you think he will prioritise?
I think it's really the midfield, because we don't have that number 6, the true number 6. All we have are 8s or 10s. So unless we have that midfield who will, as you said, cover that the fullbacks give him an outlet, then maybe Telles and Dalo would be effective. I mean, Telles good in Porto. He was not that bad. Dalo performed well with Milan. Uh, Luke Shaw's doing well with England. Uh, Masaka is a different different beast altogether. So those three at least, they've done well at a certain point in time. That's why they were brought in. But given the personnel around them, uh, I guess that's it. It's really just that defensive midfield. But of course, you have to upgrade that fullback. We can't let them be complacent and just say, okay, you're good enough, so we're just gonna let you compete currently with the current lineup that we have. But we just have to bring in someone new. Um, Although our youth is promising as well, like Ethan Laird is promising, Alvaro Fernandez as well. So it should be a mix of good competition. But as you can see, they're not good enough this season. So maybe that's why we're crying out for a fullback. But let's see if we do get that number six. Maybe they do better. But uh, we really need to prioritize that. Uh, and also the right side. Um, Maybe Anthony comes in because Jadon Sancho's falling in love with the left side, so we don't have a right winger again. So those two positions, I think, might be a couple of positions that Ten Hag would prioritize aside from the fullbacks.
Yeah, interesting, mate. Thank you for that. Alan, do you want to pick that one up as well? What do you agree with Jeff on that one as well, or do you or you think that Ten Hag will prioritise elsewhere in the team? I think it'll.
Yeah, I definitely agree with Jeff regarding the midfielder. We need a number six. If not one, maybe we need two of them, because Paul Pogba and Nemanja Matic will be leaving, and then we have zero number six, and then we are losing a number eight as well. Maybe promote someone like Jimmy Garner rather than letting him go on a loan to the championship. Maybe promote him into the team and test him out in the preseason, and somehow integrate him into our first team squad. And coming to the wing back position, which Jarvis is mentioning, Ten Hag is someone who tries to concentrate his play on the right hand side. And Jeff did talk about the right wing position that we need, and playing Anthony Martial. I think in this case, I think we need a new right winger. Maybe, if possible, someone who can develop and who can keep the width on and hug the touchline. Because in Ten Hag system, it was Mazrui and Anthony who's taking care of the right hand side. And Anthony is an amazing player who hugs the touchline, and that really helps in moving forward with the attacks. And I think
Yeah,
we
actually, I
could.
meant Anthony. No, it's not Anthony Martial. He doesn't work on the right side too.
Oh, okay. So you were talking about the Anthony from Ajax, right?
Yeah.
Fair play then, yeah. If we get him, superb, because he's someone Ten Hag really loves, and who's trying to bring him into the United squad. So, and earlier, I think it was Mike Verwij from Day Telegraph, a Dutch publication, who said that Anthony is seeking for a new club because he want to take the next step. So hopefully United can go for him. I think right wing is a priority, and at the same time, in the wing back position, I feel we could promote someone like Ethan Laird. I see a lot of potential in him. Earlier this season, he was doing pretty well at Swansea, but then coming into the January transfer window, he moved to Championship side Bournemouth. But there, Scott Parker hasn't been giving him a lot of chances in the first team. That's been disappointing. But I feel that has got nothing to do with Ethan Laird. It's been totally. It's been the fault of Scott Parker itself, because they already have a bloated fullbacks in the current setup at Bournemouth. So, if possible, try to test him out in preseason, and then another centre back would be imperative to the squad, especially a left-footed centre back, or someone who can play the makeshift role, or the versatile wing back, centre back a role in the squad. United are looking at Pau Torres, so if Ten Hag is interested to bring someone like him, it would really help in the progressive passing as well as opening up the passing angles in the current team. And Hurrien Timber from Ajax is another target. I just hope United can bring him in because he's an aggressor. We don't have a good aggressor in the squad. We have tried it out with Harry Maguire as well as Rafa Varane. Rafa Varane is a cover centre back. Same goes for Lindelof, and it's not worked well as an aggressor for Harry Maguire because he is someone who lacks space, more of a physical defender, and someone who tries to bring offside traps. But when it comes to Hurrien Timber, he's got a lot of pace and maybe an Ajax player very high line. And whenever there is a counter attack, it's Timber who blocks the channels that leads to counter attack. So maybe we could go for him. And another thing, Timber can play as a right back as well. So that's he's a versatile option for the squad. So for me, definitely two midfielders on top, and then a right wing and a centre back. And promote Ethan Laird or bring someone like Hurrien Timber who can play both centre back as well as the right back role.
Brilliant. Well, no, I appreciate that. That's very insightful. I agree with every one of your points. To be fair, I think there's definitely room for improvement, and I think strength as well. I think we the worrying thing is we brought Varane back in today and McTominay back in today, and were they fit? Were they just enough ready to come back into that squad? You look at other squads like Liverpool squad, like Man City squad, where they don't rush those players back, do they? If they have an injury with Fabinho or I'm trying to think of a player like Fernandinho or someone like that. In the past, they don't rush them back into the squad. They rotate them. They might put Bruno in there, Bernardo Silva in there, sorry, or whatever else, and then they swap it around. And I think we've struggled with that. Man United used to have good rotational depth, and we've struggled massively in the last few years. And obviously not only with depth but with quality as well, haven't we? So, just a question here from Angel Talbot, which said who was the man of the match. It's a struggle, isn't it? Really, because I think it's one of those games where you just want to switch the TV off pretty quickly and forget about it. But for me personally, I think just from that first half performance and that goal, I have to say Ronaldo. I think from a Man United point of view. From an Arsenal point of view, I thought, Saka was pretty good, Smith Rowe was pretty good on their side, but I think from a United point of view, I thought Ronaldo did very well today, and I didn't think he did anything wrong. And I think if he takes that penalty, he gets 2 goals out of this game and turns it around for United. So that's personally my view on that. Jeff, we'll come to you. Who was your man of the match?
For United, it's Ronaldo, definitely. For Arsenal, could have been Odegaard, just pulling the strings from the midfield. No one could match up to him. So yeah, Odegaard for Arsenal.
Yeah, Alan, what do you think?
I agree with both of you there. I think Ronaldo was United's man of the match, but when it comes to Arsenal, I feel it's between Elneny as well as Ramsdale. Aaron Ramsdale had a good game, so I'll give it to him.
Yeah, fair play. Yeah, it's a good assessment. So, guys, we're gonna not short off wrapping up here. I just want to get your final thoughts on sort of the last few games. We've got, I don't know. I was going to say a big game against Chelsea. I think other than the fact that it's just it's a game to remain to get some pride back. From the big top 4 teams this season, we've been embarrassed, haven't we? Let's be honest about it. And this is another opportunity to either be embarrassed or salvage some pride. So. What do you guys think? This is obviously the only major factor is that we're at Old Trafford, but then again, is that a plus point these days? I'm not so sure. I'll come to you straight away, Alan. Chelsea game. Are you expecting much out of this, really?
Not really, Reese. What we can do is just regroup and then try to get the best result, and maybe Maguire might come back in the next game. Who knows? And when it comes to midfield, I feel we need few changes. Maybe Ralph Rangnick might try to change the formation of the team because Chelsea's gonna line up with the back 3. So we can expect changes in the squad. Maybe someone from the academy might play, someone like Hannibal Mejbri. So, yeah, I'm just excited to see the youth play in the next couple of games.
Brilliant. All right, mate. And Jeff, Chelsea game, Old Trafford on Thursday. Are you expecting much from it? Are you expecting Rangnick to sort of switch things around, or do you think he's going to go for the win and be a bit tight? What's your view on it? Do we look at this still as a big game?
No, not really. I guess part of Rangnick is just really just getting the season over with. Hopefully, the players think differently and they play for the badge, for pride. But as a fan, I'm just gonna take it. It's another game. It's a United game, so I'll definitely watch if it's not too inconvenient for our time zone. But you know, I hope the players think differently from Rangnick and they play for pride. Whoever's gonna be in it, whether it's the free agents next season or the youth or those who don't deserve the shirt. So let's see. It's just neutral, really neutral for me at this point.
Yeah, I understand, mate. Well, look, guys, I appreciate your support, both to Alan and to Jeff. Don't please follow them on Twitter. Thanks for the support, guys, on that one. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel as well. And there's plenty of stuff on. I think we've got a show on tomorrow again as well. The guys are wrapping up a show tonight as well, I believe. So that'll be an interesting one where I think all sort of things are off and all holes barred. So no holes barred. So there'll be plenty of honest opinion on that one. So don't forget to watch that. But yeah, don't forget to again like, share, and subscribe. Appreciate everybody that's been watching in the comments and the questions. So again, appreciate that, guys. And yeah, we'll catch you in the next one. Cheers again. Thanks.